Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, and perhaps even good evening. My friends, thank you so much for joining me on Twitch for a, what was I going to say? Exciting little spontaneous afternoon session. That's what I was going to say. Mr. Rod is here. The madness is here. And anyone else who's out there watching, hello, hello. An emotional day, you say, Rod. Wow, okay, one of those things. Yes, doctors retiring. That is not something I've had myself before. But I've had it that we couldn't see a doctor anymore because he was all of a sudden on a different insurance plan, so we had to find someone else, and that really sucks, especially if you have a long-standing relationship with them and they know your case history inside out, and you think, do I really want to find another doctor? I mean, getting that guy up to speed and all that. So if he's retiring, it sounds like you've had a bit of a long relationship with him. So I hope he introduces someone else to take over his practice, and hopefully you're gonna find another good guy. One of those things. For years, yeah, I can imagine. And the madness is here. Thank you so much for dropping by, guys. I hope you're having fun. I'm gonna do a little bit of an experiment today. And who doesn't like experiments? Let me just go and quickly refresh our memory here. I've done something last Saturday in Substance Painter, and it was a couple of, well, one really. It's Chris's sandals here, Wedge Sandals. Let me show you what I've done. And for those of you who don't know, aloha, Miss Julia. So good to see you. For those of you who don't know, Substance Painter, this is it. Substance Painter is if I can only remember the controls here. How do I do panning again? Was it that way? No, was it this way? Was it this way? How do we do panning again? That's not how we do it. But I thought that was the middle mouse button. There we go, middle mouse button. Perfect. So alt click and then middle mouse button stuff. So this is something that Chris has made on his stream. He's made these wonderful wedge sandals for Genesis 8. And I thought I'm going to go take him into Substance Painter and have a crack at texturing them. So I've put these cork textures on the back, and I've put the leather straps on the back. So it's all, and the buckles. I've made all these materials here. And this was fun. And I've also made these stitches. But there's one thing that Substance Painter doesn't quite have in the current implementation, and that is how to stroke a brush along a path. So these stitches here, I've basically gone ahead and let me go and see if I can find this. It's on the straps, and then there was a stitch brush. This is it here. And then in here I would have probably had a brush of some kind. See if I can find something like a stitch brush. I'm sure they have it. They've got a ton of stitch brushes. Stitch straight, stitches, stitch this, stitch this, roller paint stitches, something like that. I think it may have been this. And then so I would have gone ahead and gone like something like this. Somehow, there we go. But it's messy because you have to go and start again and again, and it's just messy. You pick a color and you paint on it, and I did it very carefully with a drawing tablet. But of course, it's not as good as something that you'd stroke in Photoshop. So I was thinking I'm gonna go and try to redo the stitches in not Photoshop, actually, in something called Clip Studio Paint. I don't know if you've heard of it. Like here, this is a good example of where that was crooked, and that's just because painting in the 3D window or in the 2D window, it's not great. There we go. So you can also go and go literally see the UV map here and then paint on that straight. But it's usually you make a path, you fiddle with points, you go, that's awesome, perfect stitches. That's the kind of idea. But currently I haven't found this in Substance Painter, so that is not available as far as I know. So I thought I'm going to use my good friend Clip Studio Paint to make this happen. And I'm going to deal with the maps and gonna export them, combine them, and then we'll see if we can make that happen. Clip Studio Paint, currently, I don't have a stitch brush for it, so we're going to have to try out a few. So perhaps we'll do that first. Find a perfect stitch brush, and we can see what happens. Yes, I can imagine, Rod. The girls want those. You can get them from Chris's Ko-fi store, $1.99, or I guess from his Discord server, or if you ask him nicely. Let's see. So, Clip Studio Paint. Rod, are you familiar with it? Do you have Clip Studio Paint? Do you like it? I like it. I love it. I'm going to show you something that is so cool that we can't do it in Photoshop. I'm going to go and put my drawing tablet also on my lap to complete the experiment, it comes up with this launcher application here first, as they all do these days. They've just introduced a liquify tool, which is seriously cool. It's more intuitive, I find, than it is in Photoshop. And here it is. I think these are brushes. That's cool. So I've got. I currently haven't got stitching brushes, but we're gonna go and grab some. I'm just gonna go and find a brush to demonstrate what I'm going to show you now. So Clip Studio Paint. You would have to convert those for Poser. That is correct. Yes. So, but yes, Chris has worked his magic on making this work handsomely in DAZ Studio, but not for Poser. So let me go zoom in here, and I'm going to draw on a raster layer. And Rod, you're going to totally love this. I'm going to draw on a raster layer, and I'm going to draw, and that's that really. If you wanted to enlarge this, you would have to go and take into consideration it'll get pixelated because it's a raster layer. You can also not really do anything else with this. You can go and you can remove it, but once the line is in place, that's just the line really, right? So far so good. Now Clip Studio Paint does this whole vector thing slightly differently than Photoshop. So I can go ahead and create another layer on top of it here, but this is now a vector layer. So this was my previous layer. This was a raster layer, but this here is now a vector layer. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to doodle on it just like I was on the other layer, but this one is now really a curve. And that's kind of cool because I didn't really know I was painting a curve. All of these things are now curves, and that's kind of exciting. So what makes this amazing is that I can go ahead and grab my special something tool, namely this one here, and I can see that all of these are in fact curve points. So these are not, because they're just, you know, they're just pixels, but these are curve points that have been drawn, and they look exactly like a brush stroke. But the awesome thing is now that I can go and take any of these points and draw them away or move them away, and as I do that, my stroke moves with them. So that has implications in like my stitching bits and pieces, in that if I wanted to make sure my whole stitching path is on a particular line, I just go move points until they're in the correct place. So there we go. So I was thinking this is a great way of making stitches. So there's other tools, like these are a lot of points, so it'll be difficult for me to deal with this particular curve here. So there are other things in which I can go and simplify the vector line by just drawing over it, and then it just gets a little bit simpler. So on a complicated line like this is going to be a bit of a problem, but look, there's less points now, and that means I can now go and fine tune where I'd like my line to go. And the cool thing is it doesn't just work with brush strokes, it works with anything that you draw. So if I had my stitch brush, then all the stitches would follow what the black line is doing now. So very cool. So there's all kinds of other exciting things that you can do with this technique, and I was thinking, this would be perfect for my stitches. So there we go. Hey Joe, how's it going? Good to see you. Oh, you're having eggnog. That is exciting. Enjoy. I'm going to join you with an eggnog later. That is so cool. Yes, and it is true that everyone, including your doctor, would have to retire at one point. So a ton of brushes, a ton of fun in Clip Studio Paint. So this is exactly the principle I'm going to use to draw the stitches over. But I don't know how to deal with the height map, so we may have to be inventive there. Probably go and combine layers and stuff, but bear with me, it's all a funky experiment. The first thing I'm going to do is try to get stitch brushes in here, and I'm going to make my own eventually, according to funky little guides, but I think for now I'm just going to go and download a couple and try them out. I haven't tried that myself yet either. This is this one. This is a stitch brush, I think. Wasn't there last time I looked at this? I'm sure there was a preview picture. how to use, is that it? Oh, that's download. This is how you do that. there was a little preview where you could see what this actually, there we go, there it is. So this is what those stitches look like, and I think they might be perfect for it. It's a free download by a community member called Green Dalmatian. Thank you, Green Dalmatian, free download. There's also this one here. There's a pack of 52 brushes, so there's a lot of stitches here. Also free download. So I might go and try that out by Gina Frosch. And then there's another one that I'm not entirely sure about, if these materials, if this is going to look okay or not. I don't know, but it's something else I can try out. That's by Hannah Miller, and this is from Cube Brush. So I'm going to try the two from the Clip Studio site first. I might go and put a link in the description, just so that we're all on the same page here. Howdy, howdy, Miss People. How you doing? I'm just gonna go and pause this and put this guy into the chat because I've found them. These are stitch brushes for Clip Studio Paint. I'm gonna try both of these out now. There we go. This one and that one. Alrighty. I've never tried this out, so I'll go and just sign in required. Ay caramba. Does Firefox remember my sign in here? It might do. Does it? Was it this? Clip Studio. Yes, looks like it was. Okay, great. Let's go download, and then we wanna. That's probably okay, and it's probably also Clip Studio. That's cool. Let's go do this. I've never downloaded a material before in my life from them. Was this it? I suppose we do the same with that. Sign in. I think we've just signed in. Website doesn't remember. It's okay. There, now it does. All right. Download dialog, communication management. It's doing its thing. Second one is a bit of a larger pack. So wait for it to do its thing, and we'll see what happens. Oh, they're getting some fame, are they? Nice. Rod, congrats. That's cool. That's exactly the kind of traction that you need. Let's hope. Let's hope more people are going to be aware of the girls from TNA. I mean, you've been Artist of the Year 2019. It's one of those things. You deserve all the fame, buddy. Let's see if they're in here already. So they were saying it's in somewhere in the downloads section. Where though might that be? I have no idea. That could actually be in a different tab I haven't got open. You can re-download materials anytime in downloads, from downloads. That's where they are. How to use. So it's under materials below 3. Also, it's in this section here. Gotcha. Manage materials. Okay, good. Let's see if we can find that. Manage materials. It's probably something that's closed for me. That's quick access. That's not it. Is it this? No, that's not it either. Hey, that's just this. Do I have materials here? Materials. Material balloon. Oh, there we go. And all materials. And I don't have downloads, it appears. Download, there we go. Haha, stitch brush. All right, so if I go and click that, stitch brush, okay, fine. Did it just come up with where that is? It's under download material, but where does it appear? And it's a material rather than a brush, so maybe that is something that sounds complicated. It's in download. Have I selected it at all? No, that's not it. Maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew. These are all the materials here. Huh. That's like you in Blender, I can imagine. It's just sometimes when you're just not familiar with an interface, you think that's difficult. So it's here, it's a material, But I thought it's a brush, so how's a brush a material? Because usually I just go on these things here, and those are brushes. And I go from my mill pen or my dot pen or my flat marker, and then you just pick different categories here. And I'm kind of thinking, should it not be in here somehow, somewhere? I mean, even to brushes like that, the kind of necklaces that you can draw on people, that's all, you know, that's all groovy. But for that, you'd go and you go into a brush thing. Maybe we haven't quite understood how this works. Your downloaded materials will be saved in the material palette, download section, clips to repaint. The downloaded materials will appear in the download section of the material palette. Yes. You can use image materials by simply dragging them on the canvas. But how do brushes work? Because I mean, I can imagine I just do this. Yes. Do I know? Left click and drag into here? No, because it's a brush, right? How? Right, I know that app. It's crazy stuff. So how is the download assistant doing here? We've got this now. So we should have the other brush pack in here as well, right? I'm thinking. There it is, perfect. One stitch brush. So these are all the other brushes now that I've downloaded. And maybe they behave differently. It's also not really a regular stitch brush. I can see we need to make our own. I think we need to make our own brush. So how about this one? Does this work? No, it's still, it's just, see, I don't really get it. You double click it. Isn't that like selecting it? Search pattern, search tags pattern, ribbon brush. Oh, it's a ribbon brush. That could be. Maybe they have it under ribbon brush. So in that case, I don't need this anymore. I only need the ribbon brush then, right? Or something. Should that be up here? I have no idea. Because these things, they draw all kinds of exciting things like, you know, flowers and stuff. You know, super cool. But of course, what we want... Oh, blood splatter. Nice. And what we really want is like our stitches. So... Dash line, I suppose that we could get away with this being stitches. It's certainly something we can amend to make our own stitches. So I've released, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've made... Actually, this is kind of what I'm looking for already. I think this is kind of what I'm looking for. If we just make that a bit bigger. That'll go well as stitches. I mean, I could make my own stitch brush, and I think I might do that. And this is what I could base that on then. So then if I do this on the raster layer, on the vector layer, I do that, and then I can go over to this. Righty, and there it is. This is that. Let me go simplify that vector line now. It's maybe oversimplified, but that's okay. And now I can go and say, great, this needs to go here and the line will follow. This is what I want. And we'll just use this for our stitches. So I don't know if you're aware of it, but a few years ago, I've released a free set of brushes, stitch brushes for Procreate. Don't know if you're using Procreate. Anyone here familiar with Procreate? It's an iPad app that lets us it's basically an iPad drawing app, and it became so good that it currently has 3D painting in it, and it's very nice to add embellishments to anything and everything that you have on the go. So on a $300-400 iPad with the Apple Pencil, you can do all kinds of exciting stuff. So this is going to be our stitch brush. It's just the dash line brush from where again? Dash line in from the here, there. So whatever's the rulers here. You can also draw melody or like a bumpy thing. This is very cool. This is where we're going to find the dashed line. Roughed edge. can do all kinds of things, and they're all vector based now. So you have a choice of drawing as a vector or as a raster. So, ha, very cool. It's great. So we bought it back in the day when it was literally $3 or something, and we still keep getting free updates, which is great. So, which is really nice. Yeah. So those brushes, don't know how I'm going to access them, but that's another thing I want to look into. But so let's go back to the sandals then. If I'm gonna use what I've done here in Substance Painter as a guide, I can go and switch those off. So I can export the maps twice, once with the stitches on and once with the stitches off. And then I can go and draw them on again on this, but I'll have a separate layer and I'll just use these as a guide, just so that I know on the 2D map where these stitches are. So I think I've gone around the whole object here, but there's, you know, inconsistencies and stuff. So we'll see if we can make that a little bit better. All right, first order of business, exporting the maps. And this is something that caused me great difficulty last time, but thankfully I found a funky little tool that makes this possible for us. I'm going to go and put this in here into my Substance project, but it's getting full, so I'm going to go and clear it out. I'm going to clear the maps folder out. So in Substance, it's Wedge Sandals maps. This is where they're all in. So this is, I've tried a lot of stuff, so let me go and delete it all. Groovy. So I'm going to do this twice. The first time is going to be with the stitches, and the second time is going to be without the stitches, which leads to 2 sets of maps. But the way Substance Painter works is it will create a set of maps per material zone. So the trouble is that I have a lot of them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like let's say 10. Each of them would come out with 5 maps. So that's about 50 maps, 50 textures that I end up with. And it's ridiculous because they're all on the same UV space. So Substance Painter doesn't deal with this well. It only just exports them as is. So should I... Where do I actually give this a name? I was just wondering. Because if I have 2 sets, I might just go and have... I might just have one that says with stitches, and then I have one without stitches, just so that I can... Just that I can remember these things. So rather than just go into maps, I'm going to go... This one is the one with stitches. Because I don't know where to give it a name here. There's also a few maps we don't actually need. But also I don't really know how to switch them off. So I'm just going to go export everything and this is going to be alright. So 4K, dilation and transparent, document channels plus normal plus AO with alpha. These are important settings. So I'll go and let it cook. Do you know, I don't know if the authentic of these servers, if they're still in place for CS3, because I remember that back in the day CS2, when I looked into it, CS2 is essentially now freeware because they no longer have the authentication servers. So I wonder if that at one point will happen to CS6 as well. That would be kind of good, wouldn't it? So this is it. Now these are all the maps, and this is map overkill. And that's totally fine. I'm gonna go and say save settings, and now I'll go and switch the stitches off. Stitches off. Hello, he says, but he can still see stitches. Oh, it's because I'm not... It's still working on it. Strap selected, stitches deselected, stitches gone. Good stuff. Alrighty, do the same thing again. Export textures into the without stitches thing and let it cook. Oh, they took CS3 offline as well. Ooh, this is nice. Thank you for letting me know. Right, because I agree, CS6 is a very decent version, very decent capabilities, especially if you have the version with the 3D features, fantastic. I wish I had bought it. I have a version of CS5 for the Mac, and that works as well. I mean, Mac is more difficult than Windows, because once they upgrade a version of Mac OS, you stand a good chance that the software that you had for something of the previous version stops working because of Mac OS. But on Windows it's different. So Windows versions you can still run today, even from 20 years ago, that still works, which is kind of nice. But on Apple it just doesn't work that way, which is such a shame. But hey, them's the rules, I guess. So there is a tool that I have downloaded, and I might just put a link to that tool in the chat in a minute. It's called Texture Set Combiner. And so that is something we need in order to go and create combined versions of our map. So instead of having 60 maps that I have to map to every material, I can just go and combine them onto one. And this tool makes that happen. And for that, we go and just make ourselves new folders. This with stitches, without stitches, combined with, I'll call it. And then there's another one we'll call combined without. And we'll do the stitch ones first. So in the source folder here, I'll go and say, pick the one, the separate maps with stitches, which is, I guess, in Dropbox, Substance, Wedge Sandals maps, and with stitches. So this is where the source maps are. Then the destination is going to be similar. Shame this is a kind of a Windows 3.1 dialog, but it's a free utility, so I'm totally not complaining. Totally not complaining. And this is functionality that should really be built into Substance Painter. Some combined with, that's what we do. We give it a name. Sandals with, perhaps. And then we'll say, we'll export as PNG, and we'll say combined files. And this is going to take a while, because it now reads all these files in, and then, you know, spits out a version that we can use directly in DAZ Studio, which is kind of cool. And this is basically what everyone needs and what Substance just doesn't provide. It's one of those things. Right, multiple versions, Rod. I like it. Yeah, I didn't go for the 3D versions either, people. I had the ones that were, I basically used the cheap version that didn't come with the 3D features. And now I wish I had, because currently in the latest version of Photoshop, Adobe are getting rid of those tools. So what used to work is gradually being removed from the current versions of Photoshop. And their argument is that this is all based on legacy code that they can't update anymore. Things like OpenGL that's just not supported anymore. And their other argument is, well, please buy Substance Painter, because that has all the 3D tools that we're focusing our development work on. So yeah, that's how they do it. Look at that, tool's done. Combined stitching maps are here. We don't need the emissive map, so I'll go and delete that. We have an ambient occlusion map, which I don't think we need either. And we have a normals map, we have roughness, we have height, we have metallic, and we have a base map. So that's nice. So AO I don't think we need, but you know, hey, it comes with it. Let's just leave it where it is. Now let me go and combine the one without. That you'd think the path is pre-populated, but alas, it is not. That's totally fine. I'm just navigating that. This is no problem. So without stitches, source, and the same thing again. Sometimes my brain freezes when I do this. Wedge Sandals, no, sorry, that's the product. That's maps combined without. And I will just call that sandals. So just call it sandals, really. Combine. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Rod, perfect. Do you know, yes, and this is also a great argument of why you want to keep older versions around. I have that set up as well, or actually I had it set up. I think currently I've got the default. With my new installation, it means, hey, let me update everything for you and wipe out everything that used to be old. And I'm thinking, no, don't do that. Please leave it on. Do you know, actually you subscribed yourself last time. And I totally forgot to mention you. I was on a hype train. That was so cool. First time I was on a Twitch hype train. That was very cool. I think 3 or 4 people had subscribed within 15 minutes. And I had this purple thing scroll up at the top of the chat that said, hype train, welcome to the hype train. I was thinking, wow, that's cool. So thank you so much for your subscription. I really appreciate that. Makes my day. A hype train, exactly. So a hype train, this is the first time I heard of it as well. And so when you have so many people, I don't know the numbers, but when you have so many people give you a subscription in a certain amount of time, it goes and gives you a countdown. I think in my case it was about 5 minutes, and it said, well, if everyone chips in with bits and more subscriptions, you can unlock particular emotes or something. And it was so incredible that I must have ended up on the Twitch front page just for a minute or so, because I had something like 56 viewers, which is very, very cool. Never really happens on Twitch, so not for me anyway. Not at the moment anyway, you know. Don't know what the future holds. Let's see. So that's texture set combiner. Oh yes, let me go and show you where that is. That's I don't actually know how. Christina Atma, there it is. Christina.gumroad.com. You can get that from here. Actually, this is the link. It's a free utility and it's called Texture Set Combiner. And she's written the thing that Adobe refused to write. So they know about this problem since 2017 and they say, it's difficult. We can't fix it. We don't know. It's like also difficult. And you know, it's crazy stuff. So this is that link. And you know, if you're bringing any sort of substance textures into a game engine, you do not want 60 maps for one character and then 60 maps for another character. You do not want that. You want everything combined on one UV map, and basically everyone uses that workflow. Adobe refused to fix it. It's one of those things. Hey, let's go and put this into Clip Studio Paint now. We can leave this open as a scratch pad here. I'm gonna go and open the diffuse texture, one with and one without the stitches, so that I have the references there. Under the sandals, maps, and we need the combined ones. Combined with, this is the base. There it is. And now I'm gonna go and place the other image just into here, so we can probably see these are the stitches. So these are my kind of my reference points here. I like it, and I can have a look what this looks like in the. It looks like there's a bit of pink stuff that I need to fix. I'll see where I do that. Might do that. I think Clip Studio Paint has these tools, but I'm not all that familiar with them. Maybe we can work it out together. So all the white blobs here, I don't know what that is. Oh, those are holes. Okay, good. They need to be there. Okay, fine. Okay, good. Let me see what I can do in regards to... What do they have? They probably have a thing in which you... In Photoshop, it's called Place Embedded. This could be... Maybe they have something like import image. I think that's what it is. Let's try that. Also in Substance, Wedge Sandals combined without, and we'll use this, and that is in the same place. Thank you so much. Goodie. Just checking if I'm here, and I switch that off, then I have my stitches here. That's perfect. Okay, good. That is neat. So I probably want my stitches thing to be above this layer so that I can go and tone down the opacity here a bit, and then I have my guide for those stitches. That's cool. Okay, so before we do that, Let's see what we can... I don't know if this is a hole or if this should be fixed. Let me see what we can... How does one fix this in here? Shall we just do it in Photoshop? Because I don't know how to do it here. Before I learn new tools here. This is a blur brush. Does this do clone stamp? Ah, okay. Let's see. Clone stamp doesn't work on this type of layer. Bizarrely. It's a job for Photoshop. No worries. It's a job for Photoshop. That's combined. We don't need these anymore. I'm getting confused at combined without. There. Let's hope, Rod. Let's hope. Let's go and make a duplicate of this layer so that we don't get confused. Patch tool sounds like the choice of the professional here. And there's one here. Patch tool. I love the patch tool. I love all these exciting little tools, but patch tool, I mean, whoops, hello. That's totally... Why you no work? What? Oh, because it is transparent, so it is not actually a hole. I thought it's white and it's broken, but it's actually part of the material, maybe? What? Crazy. Disliking that tool already. Spot healing brush, how about that? That's what I like. Spot healing brush. Yeah, so this as well, I think we probably don't need those holes here, so let's Photoshop, you take care of that. I mean, the holes are probably in the geometry. Those are probably the points where the buckle goes through. But I'm thinking... There. Anything else? We have the same holes here, but those are actual holes, so I think I might just go and leave those as they are. Even though it would work on here as well, I think so. Even if you look closely, I mean, it emulates the texture and everything. It's just very, very cool. I really like what it's doing there. It's kind of freaky, isn't it, how it does that? It's just so cool. Whoops. And the way these tools work, I mean, also the way... So this is one thing I've got to say about Adobe. I mean, yeah, if we pay the subscription, we do constantly get the brand new features there. I got to say, those are really cool. I mean, in the Liquify tool, the facial detection and all the AI stuff, I mean, whew, that is just... So there is that. They do improve the app over time, so that's certainly correct. Now let me go and save this out as a PNG over this one here, and then we have a combined brand new version. Yes, the stitching, and Joe, we're going to totally make that better. We're going to totally make that better. This is the broken version, so we'll go and take that out. He says out, pressing the delete key when nothing happens. Let's maybe take that out. Yes, delete. Totally okay with that. Goodie. And this is the version that is, yeah, off. Perfect. That's the guide stitching. So let's go and import that image again. The fixed version. Oh, that's now called this, is it? Yeah, fine. Okay, fine. PNG.png Photoshop. That was not necessary, was it? That needs to go underneath the other layer. And now they're in the same place again. Perfect. Okay. I will go and make a new layer above this layer, and in my case it's going to be a vector layer. So now I put the stitching, essentially sandwiched it on top of this, so I have it separate, but I will have this one on as a guide. But let me go and see what stitch color I would actually like to use, because that's something we need to we need to decide on now. I suppose since they're separate, I can always go and colorize them in differently. And Clip Studio Paint has these features as well, like the blending modes. Do you remember where that was? Was this in, oh here, there we go, that's it. That's the wrong stitching, but we're kind of the dashed line I think we wanted to use. Yeah, like that. And if we look at the guide stitches, we're almost at the same, almost kind of at the same size here. They don't look as good, so I'd love it if I could just make a better looking stitch like we have here in this thing, but I'll leave that for another time, you know, making my own brush in Clip Studio Paint. So we're gonna take it one step at a time here. A little bit of gray, maybe like a medium gray, that might go well. Especially if we go and use a little drop shadow on that in a minute. Which, you know, how does this work? Do we have something like blending options? I might do this in Photoshop actually, the effect, you know, I might do that. But just for the actual layer now, let's go get painting. So as I said, this is going to be a vector line, and as such, oops, you see this is me going wrong, but I don't really mind about that. All I need to make sure is that it's a continuous line. And then we'll go do the tweaking, whoops. We do the tweaking a wee bit later, like. Let's see if I can do this. Like I'll do this from here to there first. And if it's shoddy, I don't actually mind. Like with this line as well. As long as it's kind of continuous, we're good. Because then the magic happens at the end. Oops. Yeah, I think I paused here as well. Like this way, can I go all the way here? Yeah, I might try it. And if I go over, it really doesn't matter because this is what we're going to connect later. Connect, correct, have fun with, and all that jazz. And then it'll be also much better to see at that point. I think I may have needed two, I'm not sure. Here. That's that. I could have, I think, you know, this is actually symmetrical, so I could have used symmetry paint here to correct this on this side as well. Maybe we'll see this as a first attempt, and we'll see how this comes out. And if it's good, then I will try and symmetrize it. Let's see here how we can improve upon what I've made. So first of all, let's go and get rid of our, make our guide stitches even less visible. And I think I'll have a first pass at making the vector line a little bit less complex. Because these are all my vector points here, and they're too many, so I don't need all that many vector points. So I'll go and simplify that first. And the shape of the line changes ever so slightly, but that's totally fine. This is fun actually. I don't really use my tablet often on stream, so this is actually a really lovely experience. I gotta say, I have two tablets. This one is the small Wacom Intuos 4S, so like, you know, 10-12 years old, and I have another one which is the medium one, which I use on my desk over there. But the thing with drawing tablets is always how do you make sure you're in the comfortable and correct position and all that. So this is kind of nice to just sitting here, you know, having a casual chat with you guys. It's really nice. Foot cushions. I don't know what that is, Joe. I'm sorry. So that's the vector line simplified. Let's go back to control point and look at that. It's much easier now for me to adjust that. I'll go make these stitches, the previous guide stitches, a little bit more shining through. I could have actually exported the guide map without the leather material. That would have been even cooler. But I wasn't thinking that far. So, dang, brother. Yeah, so this could just straighten out here. Even this point could just go here. Like, you can even shift the line, which is really nice. So you can just line these points up. You can add points to it as well to make this look awesome. Or screw it up. That is also possible. Rod and I are good at screwing things up. Yeah, look at that. Eat this, Photoshop, huh? So in Photoshop you'd have to go and literally control the path this way, but you'd also have to go and say, in order to see the final result, you'd have to go and say, yes, stroke the path again. Nope, delete that. Hang on, no, do this again. Okay, stroke it again. Fix path, stroke it again. Get more coffee. Yeah, so here I went wrong. So I think this is too far on the outside. I'm going to go and keep this as level as it is here. I might just bulge out a tiny amount here, just following that line and just making it a bit more, you know, better. Sometimes with these endpoints it's difficult to see which one the endpoint is and which one the point is straight before. That's kind of trial and error. But you know, this works. And these two, I'm not entirely sure if these two lines are actually necessary, but you know, let's see how we roll here. Yeah, so I think I might just go and turn this over to here. And then we have these two put that over here. And then this guy. That does this, and I suppose the back line we can even go into a curve here. That's quite nice. So there's other tools that I don't really know that well, but they let you connect two vector lines as well. That's kind of cool as well. So you can, if you had two lines and you think you'd like to make this into one, you can also connect them. I think there's also redraw. So that's another interesting one that we can try out here. So here I wasn't doing great, so I missed this line. So I think I can just go and say redraw this and just go place it like so. That is even cooler. So this is what you can do to just, you know, put that extra touch on it. But then as you do it, it also adds more vector points. So it kind of depends on the situation, which one's good. So I think I'm going to go and simplify this again. Like this is now, if we look at it, this is the redrawn line. I've made a lot more vector points here, which makes the curve more exact, but it's difficult to adjust. So if I make this, if I want to make it simple again like this here, I just go and use my simplify vector line brush again. And that simplifies it all, which means it's easier to adjust with curve points. But yeah, this is also a great feature if you're doing like fine detail work. It's pretty rad, this. Yeah, so this, because of the nature of this curve, I just have to add a few points here. And then this, oh yeah, this is where I stopped and started. I think I had issues with the original here as well. Because, you know, the UV map doesn't lie. Hey, this is fun. I actually have to say, this is... I had expected this to be seriously dreary, but it's actually a lot of fun for me to do. I gotta be brutally honest. It's quite refreshing. Rod, what are your plans on future Photoshop tutorials or Photoshop live streams from your efforts with the TNA girls? Because I've got to say, the few Photoshop tutorials that you did do, or like the working sessions, they were actually really nice. I've discovered this new way of doing videos. I'm trying it out, see how it floats my boat and how it works with the audience and all. And that's to, if it's something like this where you're sitting there for an hour or so and you do something or two, you go and just record the screen and then you just time lapse it or speed it up by like 10 times, and then you go and you just narrate over it and say, hey, you know, here's I'm doing this, here's I'm doing this. And then if people want to know exact details, they can always stop the video or look at it frame by frame or whatnot. But sometimes it's nice to have this high-level overview of the workflow. And I think this would be ideal for the work that you do, because I know from personal experience it just takes a while to do these graphic bits and pieces. So yeah, look at that, just tidy up that line. Oh, that's also this here. I think we need to fix that. There we go. Fixed. And then this here is probably okay until here, and this we'll just go and add a point here and do that there. Go elongate that into this, and all of a sudden, Bob's your uncle, Betty is your aunt, as I say. If I could only get this spaced out correctly. this is just something, doing it this way is just wonderful. I gotta say, this is just absolutely cool. So we've got the stitches on here. I'm thinking now, first of all, I should probably save my document. Wedge Sandals. I'll go and put a new folder in place and call it, I'll call it PSDs. And Clip Studio Paint can actually export or can save the PSD format in addition to its own Clip Studio format, which I need to use now because it will retain that vector layer. Sandals with base colors. Fine, I'll go and save that. Yes, do it, absolutely. And also, if you're thinking of doing this live, that's also a possibility. You just sometimes you don't even have to have a mic or a webcam. You just go and say, hey, what I'm doing, let Twitch be my screen recorder, you know, and just go and stream it. And in case your recording's borked, something else in the cloud has recorded it. So that's another way of thinking about it. Excellent. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to that, Rod. That'd be so cool. Because that's what I love about us coming together, because everyone has little tips. And, you know, sometimes I'm struggling with something that takes me 2 hours that you say, do you know what? With a different approach, it takes you 10 minutes. And you think, oh, fantastic. And like all of us, we just kind of feel our way into this. And sometimes there's just better approaches. You know, I was just speaking to Dominic today on the Discord server, and he wanted to make seat indentations with D-Force when, you know, somebody sits down on a couch or something, and he had heard maybe D-Force is the way to do it. And I think the beauty of coming together like this is that you can say, do you know what? Yes, that's possible, but it'll take you 3 hours and it gets you in a bad mood and makes you depressed because it's just too much work. An easier way would be learn something like Blender or Hexagon, quickly send this thing over, 2 points, soft selection, or what do they call it in Blender? The thing about proportional editing, make an indentation, bring it back in as a morph, and you're done. You know, that's much faster and more efficient to do it. And yes, you could approach it in a different way, but you know, it's not an efficient use of your time, so to say. So let me call this layer Stitches Original, or Stitches Left, actually. Let me do that, Stitches Left. Because, so my idea is, I'm going to go do the stitches on the bottom. I could have switched on symmetry overall, and then it would have kind of done all the changes here. But I think I can also go and just duplicate this layer. Righty, and I'll call this one, well, it's called Copy right now. If I go over here and say Edit, Transform, Flip, I always forget it. Is it horizontal? Let's try that. Has that happened? It has happened, but it's also in the same place still. So this is also not what we want. So escape. I was kind of hoping we could do it for the whole layer, and I think Photoshop does that. Don't these guys do this? Probably an anchor point thing. Well, I could probably just do it and then position it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this, because then it retains the vector information, you know. So it'll be flip horizontal, that was it, right? And then I can just go and put this over here and kind of just put it into where it needs to be. It would just be extra awesome if it would just snap into place in its mirrored position. But I settled for 90% awesomeness at this point. Bing! Now we have stitches on the left and the right. Okay, so now we need them at the bottom here as well. I'm gonna try to do this in symmetry on another vector layer. Stitches bottoms. And then where is that mirror painting thing again? That was... How do we do that? The Mona Lisa is here. Oh, aloha. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, do you know, you being here, that reminds me, we need to, all of us who have a whitelist on the NFP project, the non-fungible people, we need to go and get it today, because I think last we looked, that was about 14 hours to go. So it ends at some point tonight. If you do have a whitelist, you must get it today from nfp.daz3d.com. True story. Yes, indeed. In case you're not on there, that is the Discord server. So, do we remember how, whoops, that's not it. Sorry, that was wrong brush. This is the brush, little stitches. Let's see if we can set up that mirroring on here. That's a nice embellishment. Maybe we should put that on the shoes, you know. This is, you know, this is what I meant when I told you, Rod. I'm really getting a kick out of bringing all these tools together, you know. For me, this is like pure magic. You go, yeah, this is nice in 3D, but then you can do this in 2D, and then you can bring it back and put it together, and you go, oh wow. Pointy hats don't help. No, I totally agree. How do we do this here? How do we do mirror stuff? I mean, I could just do it with the mirroring. But there is a mirroring thing. Animation layer. Mirror stuff. I have a feeling it's done with something like a ruler layer. And it's probably not called mirroring or something. It's a while since I've used this, so maybe it is all so much fun, isn't it? And I gotta say, this is what we need to stay with. You know, I think for us artists, it is just so important to say, I need to stay with the excitement. Let's stick with the excitement. I'm going to do it without mirroring. I'm just going to do it freehand like I did before. So this is one guy over here, and then there's another guy over here. I think there's two guys. And this one. There we go. And then I think, oh, this is another thing I have for Clip Studio Paint. It's a little gadget. I don't have it with me, but it's a little thing. Oh, Rod, you're going to love this. It's basically, it looks like this, a little bit like it. It fits into your left hand, or into your right hand in this case, in your case. So you have it here, and while you're painting with your pen, in the other hand, you can go rotate the canvas, pick brushes, pick tools. So it's a little handy device. It's called the TabMate, and it is wonderful. It's a wireless Bluetooth connection thing, and you just go and you just basically sit there and use your other hand for things like we use it with when we do viewport navigations. In my case, I don't actually remember how to do it this way. There we go. That's how to do it. The R key. And once again, I'm not concerned about, you know, this is work well or whatnot. I'm just going to go draw right ahead, and I don't really mind if it screws it up or not. We're going to correct it later. That's the beauty of vector lines. And I think escape. No, it doesn't. Was it R and Shift? Yes, R and Shift does this. That's perfect. Alrighty, let's go and pick our magic vector control point tool thing. Oh yeah, no, first of all, we're going to simplify the vector lines. So just to reiterate, this is what I've just drawn. This very dense vector line that makes it difficult for me to control the points. So I can go and simplify this line, literally all them lines. And I can keep doing that if I need to, and just eliminate points and make the line simpler. And then I can go with the control points. Yeah, look at that, much less. And this now means I can go and make adjustments to this guy. I think this at the bottom is kind of, that's all right-ish. Mona Lisa, how are you doing today? What's happening in your life? Are you happy? Are you sad? What are your plans for Christmas? Wonderful to see you. And thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. This is a project, just to keep you up to speed here, this is a project that I started on Saturday on my YouTube channel. And it's a pair of sandals that Chris has made. And I've made some materials for them in Substance Painter. And one of the things that Substance Painter can't do well at the moment is to let us work with vector paths. But this program is actually excellent at it. You know, I need to go and just quickly grab this line here. Was that the wrong tool? No, it was the right. I think it was the right tool. Object, select layer, table timeline is object, isn't it? No. Wrong layer. Sorry. No, don't do the layer. Maybe it's the wrong tool. Pinch, control point, redraw, dust removal. Let's just like grab the whole line object. Isn't that? Can't we do that? I thought it was this one here. This operation. Move layer. That's a layer, isn't it? Move. Where are you at? Maybe we can't do it. Okay, fine. I'll work around it. Yeah, so what I'd like to do is just separate these two out here for a second, and then I just have, I know, more control here. There, gotcha. Here we go. Space you out a little bit. I can also delete points. I can add them here. That's all possible, like this here, where I didn't do as good a job. And it's the endpoints again that are a little bit tricky to position, but once you've got them figured out, it's all good. This could actually run off here. It's not really a big problem. Yeah, see, wavy stitches. I'm not entirely sure if that was correct in the original, so I might just go and put these up a little bit here. Left a bit, right a bit, up a bit, down a bit. And this might flow around a tad. Also have a feeling these were probably stitched a bit too low. Are we calling this good? Have we even done the bottom line? We didn't. We haven't. Yeah, so my plan is after this to take this into Photoshop, apply a small effect on it. If I can't do it in here in Clip Studio Paint, and then yeah, look at that perfection. And then I will go and try to bring this back into the original texture, and hopefully yeah, we might just do this here. And hopefully come up with something nice. So these are just my guide stitches, and these are now the original stitches. Look a little bit crooked over here still, don't they? Oh, do you know what? It's because there's too many vector points here. This is often what can happen. Delete the point with Alt and just click to add new ones. Oh, look at that. That's a great idea, Mona Lisa. That is a great idea. A glitter bomb, Rod. That's amazing. That is clever. This is what you have to do. I mean, this was so funny. Julia got this message and I didn't get the message, which is interesting. They said, oh, you know, our pre-sales, this was for the NFP project. This pre-sale thing is going to happen a little bit earlier than we had expected. So you can now go and claim your whitelist pieces here. And then they had a website. I got it. It's been taken down, so I can't show you this anymore, but it was so well designed, you could have mistaken it easily for the original DAZ website. So literally who worked on the project and, you know, explaining the project, exactly the color scheme, exactly the fonts, and it was scary. And of course, you know, connect your wallet, there's a mint button there, and we looked at it and there was a timer on there, and it was, well, you know, the first 888 pieces are being launched and stuff, and you could see the timer, fake timer, go up, so as if live so many people would buy this stuff until only 4 are left for you to buy. And, you know, at that point the punter is supposed to get out the proverbial credit card, or the wallet in this case, and go and buy and lose ETH, because of course it's a scam website. So crazy stuff. So I like it. Yeah, glitter bomb, that is good. Mr. Brian, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. I'm just putting finishing touches onto the layer map here. I'm going to do exactly what I did before. I'll go and duplicate this. Stitches bottom. He says wanting to duplicate the layer. There we go. This is that copy, and that's on here now. I'll go and horizontally flip that again, which is then here. So we're going to put that kind of over here, and I'm sure eventually I will figure out a proper mirroring option here that puts it in the correct place, but for now I'm okay doing it manually. Machines, I tell you, will never be able to do this. Machines won't, I tell you. This is a bit too high now. I think it's okay. It's okay. So we've got all these things as stitches here. So this is then bottom left. I'm sure you can merge these as well. I would imagine you can merge with a layer below, so you can merge vector layers as well. That's nice. I could merge them all onto one vector layer, but hey, they're separate now. I'm okay with that. This is then stitches bottom left. Oh, that was already left. Okay, fine. So this is this here is actually left. This one is actually right. I quite frequently mix that up. Maybe I should get tattoos on my hands so I can remember. Stitches bottom left. There we go. So then left is this. Goodie. And right is that. Perfect. And then this is my guide here. So that should be disabled. So now we have this, and you know, while we're in this mood of stitches, I'm almost thinking perhaps we should go around and put stitches on these things as well. That's another thing we could do on the soles. I mean, not that anyone's going to look at the soles bottom, but you know, let's see how this works. Righty, let me go and save it out, and in fact save out a PSD version. So this is our Clip Studio version. Let me go and save out a PSD version. Oh, does this work with duplicate? Can we do save as duplicate? That's kind of what I want. Save duplicate as PSD. Oh, these people have thought of everything. And I'm doing that. It'll tell you here that this basically destroys the layer information. Will not be compatible. So it will go and we want to have it all, don't we? We want everything if we can. Expression RGB, it's all good. Perfect. So it'll rasterize these layers, but that's fine. So Photoshop doesn't know these as vector layers, but there'll be still vector layers in here. So that's quite nice. This we don't need anymore. Let's go and see if we can bring t'other guy to life. Sandals with color. See what Photoshop's been doing with these, with the little layers here. From afar, they don't actually look that bad, I gotta say. But if we look in closely, they're just, you know, they could do with a little bit of pizzazz that we can smuggle in here in Photoshop. Stitches left this is a good example of it. And we have the guide that's switched off. So if I go and put a little bit of a blending effect on here, and I'm gonna just try something like a drop shadow. Obviously, drop shadow preferably with black. That's good, and also maybe just with normal, and it's probably way too large here. Do we even see anything? Oh, opacity. Let's go with say 80, just so I can see that. The stitches are really small, so I'll go and make that even. Yeah, see, like something like this. And then we do this a little bit less. Maybe 3 is actually is how about 1? Is 1 good? 1 is a bit too. 1's not good. Let's do 2. 2 is probably okay. Just gives that a little bit of depth there. I think I like the sound of that. And then we can also, not that they're big enough or anything, but we can also try and put a bit of an emboss effect on here. Don't think I have it here. Bevel and emboss. And then this gets this little shine here. Can you see that? It's kind of, it just turns it into something that now looks way more like a stitch than it did before. And then we don't actually need the stitch brush that is like so special and everything. It's just a few dots really make that. So boom, stitches. Yeah, so since these are all individual, I might just go and merge them all, and then I might just merge this down, and now everyone has this effect here. Oops. Yes, hello. No, don't do that. Whatever you did, don't do that. It was there. Perfect. There. So especially from afar, you'd think, crikey, governor, this is awesome. Except for this isn't great. I gotta be brutally honest. This needs fixing. Kind of hard round, eh? Oops, it's too much, man. Don't do that. There. Oop. Do we have crashage? I hope we don't. Oh no, you got scammed, Mona Lisa. What happened? Oh no, Mona Lisa, I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened? How did they do it? Because I think so the most scams are still operating in a way that people don't really, or organizations, scammers, mechanisms and stuff, they don't really just go and steal from you. You still have to go and do something that makes them, that gives them the ability to do this, you know. That is, a friend of mine had just had that happen. He saw a pop-up and thought it was genuine, something about Trojan viruses, and he gave them a call and gave them all his details, and they then went into his computer. It was terrible, and you know, he just fell for it, and it's just, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. And I say yes, let's glitter ball them to death. I'm totally in for that. Oh, okay. Nuke India. Rod's new politics. First one, nuke India. Crazy. See, you have another fan, Brian. This is great. Brian, I have to say, earlier, I think, has Photoshop done it now? I think it's crashed. Was my keyboard dead? Could that be? Get your screenshots? I wasn't... No, that's cool. Maybe it's my keyboard, actually. Do we have... pen scroll? This is that as well. Nope, that doesn't do... That's Alt. That's Control. That's Shift. That's Precision Mode. But why, how does my keyboard not work anymore? Oh, it does. Okay, fine. Good stuff. It's just that Control 0 doesn't behave anymore. Oh my god, I think Photoshop is on its way out here. Let me go and save this document. Let's quickly restart the poor fella. It's maybe he's just overworked and underpaid. You run in 2024. All right. Campaign is all set up already. That's so funny. And this is it, right? Yes, that's the ticket. Oops. Can we do it again? Yeah, there we go. He's all right again. So there's one thing, of course, that the keen observer may have, may kind of, the keen observer may observe. Duh. I have the stitches now on this layer, and they're disableable. But I don't have them on the height and the normal map. So this is actually what I was going to finish off. I was going to have a look if we needed to delete anything else that now looks a little bit, you know, per ants. Rod, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, I'm actually wearing the Girls from TNA t-shirt today. Can you see that? It's a bit low, but it's definitely, I'm wearing it and I'm loving it. You know, Girls from TNA. Here we go. Just thought I'd show you this, you know. The Girls from TNA t-shirt. The merch, it works. I think somebody just followed or subscribed. Thank you so much. That overlay is in the wrong place. It is stylish, isn't it? So thank you so much for following. I appreciate that. Let me go and just get my eraser brush out. Yeah, Photoshop is a bit slow. Maybe there's too much opening. Maybe it's the Substance Painter. Or maybe it's Clip Studio Paint, which we may not need anymore. So I'll go and just save that and close that. One canvases which need to be... Really? Oh, that's probably the other one here. Confirm changes. And this one we don't save. That's cool. It's kind of okay. It's a little awkward here, but I think I'm gonna leave it. This here, I think, make it a bit more perfect. This is all not so bad. This could be better. Oop, hello. Dude. I don't know why he doesn't want to do the hand sometimes. Or anything for that matter. It still does this? No, it doesn't, man. It hangs. Yeah, don't know what's eating him. He doesn't... That's awkward. It could be one of those, you know, Wacom pen issues. I'll go and try this again. I'll go and close it, open it one more time. It's sometimes, so it does happen when I gotta just be a little bit more careful with using the space bar and then just doing it quickly. Sometimes it doesn't like it, so I have to be really, really slow, and then it's groovy. Oh, Brian is super awesome. We have no complaints. Yet no fives. Interesting. 5 is the best, I suppose. 1, you're not doing good. 5 is you're doing amazing. Oh, is it? Oh, interesting. Thank you, Mona Lisa. It happens to me when I use the Wacom pen a little bit too fast. So if I do it with the keyboard and mouse and then just, you know, just do it nice and slow, he's usually okay. But if I try to do it with the pen, and also when I go and when I flick it, so if I space click and then just move it, he's okay. But if I space click and then flick it so that the canvas kind of moves, that he doesn't like that at all. So maybe I just make absolutely super sure I don't do that. But you know, sometimes we just do these things, don't we? Oops, that wasn't meant to happen. Let's go undo that. But I'm glad to hear that you also have that problem, because sometimes I'm thinking, oh, is it just me? This is this one stitch that isn't looking great, this here. So I wonder if I just have a really tiny brush with the eraser at hand here. Hello, eraser. Dude, that's not the eraser, this is the eraser here. And just do something like that in between. Does that look good, or is that more like, you know, terrible? He says, thinking it's actually pretty terrible. But hey, this is a good example of what we can do here in order to fix this. Brian was asking yesterday how I fixed something in Photoshop, and there's so many cool things that you can do with Photoshop. I think I might try. Oh, do you know, this is Windows Ink. That is why it has a problem here. Windows Ink is often the culprit. Let's go and find it. Windows Ink. We don't want to use that. Actually, it's a thing on the Wacom driver, if I remember this correctly. Not that I remember where the Wacom driver is now. Tablet properties, perhaps. The madness! How you doing, buddy? Eraser, mapping. Use Windows Ink! Evil! Gotta switch it off. I don't know why this was still on, but this often causes that problem. So if you have this issue as well, try switching that off. And then this long press and bringing up a dialog, that doesn't happen anymore. Like, you know, in my case, I can now long press and it just brings up the menu rather than the circle thing. So in my case, I think I'm gonna go with the healing brush tool. And I think I can just go tell you this here, clone that kind of here. And then I can also tell you to clone that there. And you know, while the spacing isn't perfect, but you know, it's kind of, we're good here. And I think, do we have the same problem here? Yeah, we've got it here. Just make it two smaller stitches here, and then from afar no one's gonna be the wiser. Okay, let's call this good and see how we can integrate this into the other maps. So that means a little round trip into the other maps, in which we have, there's the combined with and without. So let's have a look at, we don't need the occlusion map, we have the base map, the height map, metallicity, let's not worry about, the height and the roughness, let's have a look at those. I think the normal is probably also okay. And I just want to see if in those maps with the stitches, if the stitches actually come up. So they don't. That's interesting. So I'm wondering, I kind of like the idea that the stitches would create a bit of a height difference there. This could also be in the, well, the normal map's difficult to see, but it could be that the stitches, yeah, look, the stitches have information in the normal map. I think because I have a black and white image, will do, yes. The Made in China sticker, I like it, I like it. That is very, very cool. Okay, so I think I might not put it into the normal map, but I think it's going to be easy for me to put it in the height map. So I can just go and copy the stitches out and just put that in the height map. Quick look at the roughness map. Because it would be, I don't know if they had any implication, if they were showing up in the, yes they were, okay. This is what they look like in the roughness map. So they just look a little bit darker here. That's cool. So let's put height and roughness into that equation as well. And then we'll go and put them, take them out and try to apply them all in the DAZ Studio. So these are combined without. This is what we've already done. Occlusion we don't need, emissive we don't need. Height, let's go with that. And while we're in an opening mood here, let's also go with roughness. Okay, so this height we don't need. This is the roughness as a guide. Let's in fact deal with that first. So we'll go and say, I'll call this just stitches. And go and duplicate this layer into the sandals height. Sandals height, hello, how you doing? Stitches on the top. And this kind of depends if they are, so these are just them on here. The original stitches. I don't know if that's going to look great or not. I'm just going to go with this. There's going to be a bit of variation. I don't know if these need to be lighter or darker, but I'm going to go and save these out as a PSD. Sandals height. And then we have the layer information. I'll just go put this out as the version with the this is going to be our final height map is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go put this right into the data structure so that I don't have to set this up again. So it'll be in runtime textures. There's CCOX, so I'm going to go make myself a new folder here which is called well, I will just go call it WP Guru, and then Chris has done his under Wedge Sandals, and then this is where the maps are. So I'm going to follow this example. I'm going to go into here and call it Wedge Sandals, and then in here I'm going to go call it Sandals Height, and the file name doesn't matter all that much, but this is going to be our final map then. So same with the roughness map. At least we have a guide here what this is potentially supposed to look like. This is without any stitches. This is with stitches, so slightly darker. Do you duplicate into Sandals roughness? Slightly darker, so that's the height map. We put that over here. This is our version. This is the original version. So it looks like there could be a little bit lighter here. Let's make that happen with just a bit of brightness contrast. Then that we clip to just the layer below. Make it lighter. Something like that. Was that too much? They were supposed to be darker, don't they? Weren't they? Duh! I have a feeling it was probably just perfect the way it was. Let's just leave it like this. And we'll see what happens. So this is the roughness map. Let's go and save that. Sandals roughness. And this also goes into the product folder. So runtime, textures, me, Wedge Sandals, Sandals roughness. All right. And then roughness width we can remove. Then we have the base, so that needs to be saved into that folder as well. Oh no, hang on a minute. This is called... Oh no, this is correct. It's correct. So we just say Sandals base, I'll call this. There. And we're gonna go save this also as just basically Sandals base. I just need to call that a no width anymore. Sandals base, there we go. So that's 3 maps done. And we're kind of nearly there. I'm glad we're getting there. We're getting there. Right, yes you can. Yes you can, Rod, absolutely. And hey, that is a snarky comment. Yes, I totally disagree. If you have a scale of 1 to 5, you do want to give exceptional employees a 5 occasionally. You can't just say, actually 5 doesn't exist, because that means you only have a 1 to 4 star rating, really, right? That means everyone who is a 4 is technically a 5, which is, you know, that's lame. I think that's lame. Right, exactly, Julia. Super lame. Super lame. So we're close, my friends, we're close. Let's just check which maps we're missing in this directory so that I can go and put that in there. We've got the height, roughness, base, so we need a bit of normal action here. Let me just go and drag those over. So I've decided not to put not to put the stitches on the normal, so I'll go and just drag that over. That's it. This is a normal map, Sandals normal. And then we don't have an emissive, but we have metallicity, which I think also doesn't have the stitches on it. I mean, it shouldn't have. But we could just have a wee nosy, like open width. Where's that? That dialog keeps frequently disappearing. Have you noticed in Windows? Isn't there open width somewhere? Open width there. I just want to have a look at it. If there is stitches material, there isn't, but it's because I'm looking at the wrong map. Ha! I should be looking at the other guide map. The combined version with stitches. The metallicity. I might as well just go open it like this. I'm just having a nosy. No, there's no evidence of stitches. That's good. Okay, so those are maps. 5 maps. That should be enough. That should be enough. Let's go set this up in the DAZ studio. I think I still have a scene there. Brian, hey, I hope that at one point, and I hope that for all of us really, that in the future we all can earn a self-sustainable living from what we do for fun, like what we're doing right now. That's my hope and my wish for all of us, that eventually this is going to go pay our bills, or the government pay our bills with something like the basic universal income, and we just do what we do like now, and we just have a good time, you know. That is ideally that's kind of my wish. I hope that's going to happen at one point. So I think I have the sandals here. And that's cool. I don't have those maps. That's fine. We're going to replace those with with bigger and better things anyway. We're good here, don't worry about it. That's cool, stop asking. Wouldn't that be good? Virtual Tulip Farmer, congrats on that sale, by the way. In case you didn't know, two things actually. So Brian has got an NFT collection out, which is awesome, which is the Tulips collection. But more importantly, after its release, a couple of days or so after, somebody made a purchase. So he has actually had a buyer for one of his tulips, which is awesome. Congrats for that. Really like that. I'm just going to go get rid of that auto headlamp here. That's that filament draw options node. And that's a little bit, a wee bit blown out. Make that a bit darker here. Maybe even less dark. There we go. So, oh, that was the camera. Didn't mean to do that. Ding. Whoops. Nudity. Oh my God, that's terrible. We can't have that. I didn't know she was, you know, nude and all. That's terrible. Quick, put some clothing on. If we're lucky, Twitch didn't catch it. Stream goes down. Do I have anything that we can give her? How about the basic wear bits and pieces here? Basic wear sports bra, awesome, and basic wear shorts, perfect. So are we good here? Yeah, whew. Okay, perfect. Got away with it. Alright, we're here for the shoes anyway, so. Yes, you must be. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is usually what happens to people. You see nudity and you go, "Ugh!" And then you're on lifelong medication and stuff. It just can't happen. Now, I can see why the platforms do it and why they are very strict. And I hope this is going to be forgiven. And if I'm not here tomorrow, it's because I'm banned. So let's see something on the edge here. It's Jay's fault. It's Jay's fault. Let's see here. So this is the straps inner insole sole, right? Is that it? Just to check. That's that. Perfect. Okay, let's go bring maps in. I'm going to do it on the sole map first so that we see what's what here. And thank you so much for this tip, Brian, that I can actually just go and left click and drag things in here. I just kept selecting it. So that just goes left click and drag it right in here. That's neat. And then, of course, on the glossy, we have the glossy roughness. So there we go. That roughness map needs to go in from us. Ding. And roughness value, let's debate it. I'll leave it on 10 for now. I don't know if it's important. Base bump is going to be the height. And it's also set to 10, so I don't know if that might be a little bit much here. And we have a normal map as well. That should just be set to 1. And then we do have a metallicity map, which I always forget. It's over here. It's on metallic. And that's this one here. That's it, right? We've got that. We've got that. We don't have opacity and whatnot. So now that the sole is set up, let's go copy this and put it over literally everything. Aha! There's our stitches in action. Let's see what this looks like in Iray, and then we get a bit of a feel for our roughness and bump details and all that. $9 gazillion. That's a lot of dólares. Il dólares. I think the HDRI is just not doing us a favor here. Whoops. Oh wow, there's this thing here also thanks to Brian. I've managed to work out how to put this embossing stamp in here. The official Chris L. Cox shark rocket is on here now. That's neat. So that's all part of the normal map, I'd say. And it's kind of embossed like the Crocs guys do it. That's very cool. There's also some other funky things going on here that I didn't mean for that to be in, even though it looks quite nice. I don't know what that is or how that got in here. But hey, I'm not complaining, it looks kind of cool. Should have put that on here as well. So I have a feeling my height map we didn't draw it this way, did we? This is not what I did. I have a feeling these are the previous stitches. They're also going the other way, I have a feeling. So my stitches don't look good. But these things I haven't seen in my map, so that it makes me wonder if the straps still had something in there that it hasn't quite taken that, or if I've added the wrong map in there. Let's see here, straps, base color, sandals base. So it's definitely what came out of Photoshop for me. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. This is not like, you know, out here we never had stitches like this. So let's double check in the Photoshop if this is in fact the correct thing here. That came out. Wedge Sandals, product, runtime, me, Wedge Sandals. They're this. That's definitely that. Because, yeah, we don't have shenanigans like that, or do we? Okay, this looks awkward here, but is that that? It could be that. It's difficult to say, isn't it? I thought I took such care that we don't see what my grandma would have called Hackelümmels. Yes, and I think there's a bit of an inversion thing going on, as you're absolutely right. So the height map, if we just have a look at that, under bump, base bump is 2. If I go make that, can I make it higher? No, I can't. Just got to fiddle with the parameter here. And say max is 10, and let me put that to 10. See if it is the height map. Yeah, so it probably needs to be negative, or probably more likely I'll go and fiddle with the map. So if I need to invert it, it means it should have a different color. This is it inverted. It also looks bad, actually. I gotta say, it doesn't look good. I wonder then if we should just put this to 0. Because that looks really bad now. It's almost like these are not the stitches we've just made. Do you know what I mean? It just looks... It looks like there's a residue of the old stitches I've made in Substance Painter there. Because, you know, this is it. This is all... I've corrected all this. This is still wonky and wavy, and I've corrected all this. So, which is bizarre. I'm unhappy. Totally janky. Totally janky, and we made sure this ain't janky. So that is weird. Maybe just as a... Because these are the guide bits here. Jankarama. This is janky here, and we've made sure the jank ain't happening anymore. Do you know, I could just for laugh, as they say, I will go and add a particular color to this. So a color overlay that just shows us it's definitely the stuff that we've made. So I'll go use the blue here, just so that we're absolutely 100% super sure that we're looking at this very map. Because, I mean, maybe we're not, you know. Sandals base, I'll just overwrite that. And then in DAZ Studio, use this option here, refresh images. And does it make this blue now? Yes, it does. Oh, that's terrible. So this is how janky my good-looking brush strokes look. Hey, that's super disappointing. I'm like mega disappointed now. Well, you know, I'm medium disappointed. I had hoped for something better. That's a shame. How about the normal map? Does that have the stitches? And probably not. I mean, oh, what a shame. No, you don't have to change the name. It's just if you replace something and you overwrite it. So I had this map in here already, the color map, and I've overwritten it from Photoshop. And when I do that, I need to tell DAZ Studio that the maps have changed, just so that it reloads them in, and that can happen here. So refresh images or Control I. There's also this option here, automatically refresh, and then I think at given intervals it just goes and pulls a new map. So this is handy if you're doing something in a 2D application and you make changes. So what I could do now is not put the PNG image in here, but put the PSD image in, the real Photoshop image, and then I make a change. I save in Photoshop, I come back here and then see where that has updated. In fact, let's just try that out, shall we? So if I go and paint something on the strap here, I don't know where that strap is. I think it's this here, isn't it? Yeah, this is probably that jank that we're seeing. The jankiness. If I go and put something, if I put something on here, just for a laugh, I'll call it testing, and I'll just go and save that out again. It's on a separate layer, so it'll be safe. And I'll save this over the base map that is currently being used. I'll do that and say yes, fine. And then in here, I can go and say refresh images. Then we should see testing here on one of these straps. So there it is. It's on the other strap. That's how you load in, you know, images. But what a shame. I'm not entirely happy there. This has gone totally wonked now. I thought this is going to look great, and I must admit it does not. So that is a shame. That's a shame. And in the hands of a skilled artist, this is going to look seriously good. Sadly, in my hands, it's a total waste of time. Including the inversion there. So if we just go by what it looked like if I put this to 10, or maybe 10 is a bit much. Maybe I'll go put this to 2. I think I like 10 because of the embossedness effect that we get here. Then I think my stitches are still, they're not even in the right place, are they? I think there's something's just not worked out in the whole base bumpness. So let's see if I can adjust that sandals height. Let me go and try and make this, just give it a different color. So that's basically the only thing I can do here. I'll go and I'll clip that to, oops, dude. I'll clip my color correction layer. So if I do this, it would affect everything. But if I go and Alt click on this little line here, I will go and clip this color adjustment layer just to my stitches, and it won't affect the underlying thing. So let's go and crank this up to something lighter now. I'll just use 100 just to see what comes out. Sandals height. Sandals height. Yes. And then in here, we go and refresh our images and see what is occurring. It looks equally terrible. Interesting. I wonder why. It's like our stitches haven't really changed. So let's go with a different color. Let's do the same thing, but go the opposite way. Like make it dark. Like as dark as we can, maybe like this. Stitches height. Hear me now. What's so bad about it? I like it. Ding. Same value, different texture, and equally terrible. Well, hey, I like the cork on the side, right? Yes, that's right. That's what we need to put on there. And then basically everything is cool. Like you said, Brian, we just either that sticker, the Mexico sticker, or we put in the, or we put the China sticker on, and then we're all good. Yeah, okay. So back to the drawing board for that. Dang. Yes, that's what I don't really understand either. I don't really get that at all, because is this the correct map here that we're using? Sandals height. Definitely. Hey, this is a mystery. But if we do set this to 0, is there actually a difference? Like at all? Curiouser and curiouser. I'd be in for a test, actually. I'd be into to just get my head around this thing. Let me just go and save this as maybe just oversave this. That's cool. And I will go and we'll do a super simple test, which you sometimes have to do. We create a new scene, and we're going to start with our own object, with which we then fiddle. Of course, I think the DAZ primitives are UV mapped, but they don't have a UV texture as such. So how do we proceed? We want our own primitive, I guess, and we want to have just a UV texture that we can fiddle with, and then make several adjustments on that in our favorite painting application, and then we'll see what the effect this height map actually has. Ready? Are you with me, boys and girls? I'm just trying to get my head around how do we even begin. I'm thinking perhaps the blender might help. I can check that. Let's go and just see what the whole roughness madness is all about. So here's our cube. It's cool. We go GZ1 and it's floating on the on the ground here. And then we go and have a look at the materials. We have a material under UV editing. We have this. That's awesome. And I'm thinking this here, we want to essentially save out, and it shall become our height map. I don't think we need to be super accurate about this, but just so that I just have a bit of a guide, I'll just go and export this UV layout out, and I'll go put this on my desktop, new folder. Let's clutter up that desktop. Cube test, we'll call it. And in here, I'll call this cube UVs. And I think, yeah, let's go 2K on this. 2048 by 2048. Righty. All UVs are modified. I don't think it matters because we're just going to go and do this and have a quick look. Because it could just be that we're all mad, and there it is. This is the cube UV, so this is going to fit on here. And then from here, I'll just go and export my guy out, export wavefront OBJ to desktop cube test, and I'll call it cube. Actually, I'm going to give it the correct name, default cube. I will go make him 100 times bigger so that we can see it in all its glory in DAZ Studio. This is exciting, boys and girls. I really like it. Let's go and import him in. Because sometimes you only learn with rigorous testing. And you say, what have I done wrong? Here's cube. And he is UV mapped. There it is. And this is what we're going to go and look at now in Photoshop. And then we're going to do shenanigans with it in Photoshop. So not so much new, but open the UV map that we've just exported, right? Under Cube UVs here. And this is going to be kind of the template for whatever we're going to do here. So I'll call this one UVs just so that I know what it is. I'll make a new layer over it and I'll call this one height. And we can make different ones. We can have one for color. We can do, you know, all kinds of things. But here we'll go and have something that's how does height work again, Brian? Is it that black is no change and white is the most change? Or is it that a medium gray is no change and then anything above or below it? Is that how it works? I think it was in black is basically flatness, and then anything that's white goes up, right? I think. That's exactly what I do, Rod. Exactly. It's called the Gonzo approach to 3D. Just try it out and see what happens. It's what makes 3D so exciting. Mona Lisa, that's so funny. Let's just try that. I'm gonna go and pick a black color layer here, and we'll call this no height. And on it, I'll go and actually make this a little bit just see through, that I can see where my cube UVs are. And I'll just go and pick a regular brush here maybe, and I'll paint with white. And this is going to be height. Well, it shouldn't be all that soft. Let's do something hard. Right, so height. I'll put a H on all these things, or just a blob, it doesn't really matter. So just that we have something on every, I'll put it M for Mona Lisa. There, so this could be a height map now. I crank this up to black and no, 100%. Oh, come on, 100. There. This I'm thinking is our height map. White is up, black is down, medium gray is the same. Ah, I see. And this is now why it's so cool that I've got my black layer here. I can just go and say, make it 50% by basically saying, that's what I thought, Brian. Thank you. So this is nothing. White means up and then black is down. So I'll go and oops, sorry. Dude, this is my eraser, you know that, right? Oh man, come on. You don't recognize the back of my pen anymore? No, I guess you don't. Okay, fine. Don't do that then. So I'll put these guys will go down. Righty, so I'll put an O here, M-O-N-A. There we go. We almost have all your letters, Mona Lisa. We'll put that to 100. Oh, come on. Some things are more difficult with a pen than others. And I'll go and export this. I'll call it height. In fact, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and save this PSD document. I'll show you another neat trick that I like using when I do these types of tests here. So instead of exporting a height map, I'll just save this 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 whole PSD document, and I'll call it cube height maybe. So notice this has layers and it's a PSD document, and in here I'll go and drag this into the base bump, right? Just the whole PSD document, because DAZ Studio understands that. It can, you know, now it's in here and it doesn't have a value, so I wouldn't expect to see anything, but let's go and put this to 2, and we do indeed see indentations even in the filament preview, which may or may not be accurate. I'm not entirely sure. Let me go fiddle with the draw options, just so that we see this better. I don't know how accurate this is, if it can go... It looks like they're all going down now. I don't see a difference between up or down, but it could just be that that's filament. So let's go and switch this over to Iray. Have a wee look. Make one of the symbols black for science, exactly. So, and we do know there's black and white, a mixture on here, right? But on here, that's from below. I think maybe we don't want to draw the ground. Draw ground, no. Everything indents. Nothing comes out. Does it make sense? I'm going to turn down the default HDRI. Everything indents. O is going down, A is going down, H is going down, O is definitely going down, M is going down, nothing is going up. M is up. Come on, M, be up. I see it as down, I don't see it up. That's confusing. No wonder my stitches look terrible. Base bump, but this is at 2. Let me exaggerate this and just go give it a minimum and maximum of maybe 50. Well, the max is already 50, perfect. So what if I turn it around the other way? It doesn't want me to do it. May have screwed something up. Minimum 50, maximum 50, default 50. Oh yeah, minimum needs to be minus 50. Duh. I see, now I can see a change. So now O is up and M is definitely down. So you saw that M was in fact up. I see this as down. I can't tell. This is definitely down. A and O are definitely down. H could be either way. Maybe it doesn't do up very well. A is up. M is up. Yes, I can see M now. Okay, fine. This is confusing. And this also isn't actually as good an effect with the bump map as I had hoped. So I can see why many people just rely on the normal map by itself. I suppose that would give better results. It's also, I don't know how we can make this more pronounced, like give it a proper displacement map. That could actually be under geometry. We could just, yeah, we could actually use this as a displacement map, and we'll see how that looks. That might be good. Which is why they got changed. Indeed, indeed. Let's try the other thing then. Let's go and make this none, no more, and let's go see what our friend the displacement map can do. 90s video games. Yes, you're absolutely right. You've got something there. So displacement creates actual geometry. So I'm going to start gentle with just a value of 2 if I can. And nothing happens. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Also not exactly what I had expected. Oh, is it because, I know, because minimum and maximum displacement need to be set to something much more. No, minimum is 0, isn't it? And maximum is 10. There we go. Okay, that now really changes the cube up. I think, does it have to have more geometry for this? I don't think so. Displacement, I had expected better of you. Yeah, so it just goes and uses the faces rather than the actual map. That's a little weird. No worries, have a good meal. Thank you for joining, I appreciate it. Have a good one, have a wonderful evening. Right, so for this I'd have to have a much better subdivided cube, I take it. I mean, we could make that happen. I thought, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. We could just do that inside DAZ3D. It'll collapse the cube. But we can make it happen. Geometry convert to sub D. Hang on a minute. We're not finished with you. Yes, I can see it, I can see it. And it works as expected. So we have going down A's. And we have coming out H's and stuff. All of this inside DAZ3D, notice. Without having to buy a $20 product. This is kind of cool, isn't it? Ooh, very good. So displacement works as expected. Let me see. So M is coming out, and then the A is going down. Let's just check colors here. A is going down as black, M is coming out as white, and gray is nothing. a ball droid thing, yes indeed. Yes, and the more subdivision we add, the better the displacement map can work, I take it. So what has that taught us? We need to find a way to convert my height map into a normal map. And that is where Brian's exciting program comes in handy, right? You had a thing that was called Mapstify, or what was it called? Map something. Do you know, Materialize, that's it, not Mapstify, good point. Mona Lisa, if you watch Brian's video about the tulip collection, there's really good information in there. Somebody has auctioned off a gray pixel and it went for a lot of cash for auction. And it's bizarre because I wonder if people are following suit with things like the black pixel, the white pixel. I mean, there's 16.7 million colors that I could probably not exactly name, but I could probably dial them in with enough time. Materialize, I haven't looked at that yet. Is it a free download? Because it'd be interesting to see what happens in regards to my, my height map. Maybe we can just go and turn that into a normal map. I wonder also if we can just go mix it in with another normal map. 1.3 mil. Crappy interface, but good programming. So this is often the case. Let's just try it out. Do you have to install it, or is it something you just run? Because we'll find out soon. Close the blender down. Yes, Brian, make sure you grab yourself this here, the texture set combiner. I'll go and put that in the chat just so that ding, that you all can get it. This is this free thing that lets you combine maps from Substance Painter. Bounding box software. Materialize. That's the one, is it? Image to material tool. Oh, okay. Download, extract the zip, permission, yada yada. That's all good. Unity project source code is hosted on GitHub. Okay. Is this it? Before I download something that isn't actually all that good. That's the one. Let's go get it. Download. I like it. Fast download. No installer necessary. I like it. I've never tried it, so this is going to be my first time looking at it. Always good to get introduced to little exciting there. Unity player, but also they've made this in Unity. That's kind of cool as well, isn't it? I love it when people do that and use things like Unity for something that, you know, I mean, if it works for you, perfect. It's like I see this with what Julia's doing and her friends and colleagues are doing with Core. Unbelievable, mind-blowing stuff. Height, diffuse, normal, metallic, smoothness, edge, AO, saving options. Can we control this viewport? Oh, there we go. Hello. There we go. That's neat. These are the ZBrush controls. I like it. Goody. Real-time preview, hence Unity. I like it. Oh, all means open. That's not fair, is it? That's just not fair. Oh, why are you so mean to me, interface? We'd like to use something that looks a bit like... This is the drive, is it? This is the path? Oh, brother. That might take a little bit of getting used to. It's like a video game. Yeah, I'm kind of used to things like, you know, seeing what my drives are. What do I know what my E drive is? What's its name? Is this the storage drive? Unable to access. That's a shame, isn't it? How about D? What? That's not it either. Can I go up a path? No, we didn't implement that because that's... we didn't want you to get confused. Right. Well, let me just look it up in my, you know, Windows Explorer. Yes. So I just go to Dropbox usually. I mean, Dropbox is on the F drive and then in cloud. Okay, good stuff. Let's see if that works. Cloud files. Here's my Dropbox. Twitch icon, also good. Then it's in Substance. And I believe we just go directly to the products directory. Because that's just how we roll, isn't it? Height. That's the one with the stitches. Let's go open that. Oh, that's possible? Oh, that's nice. That's good to know. Yep, certainly got my stitches in here. And Chris's logo. Liking that. Okay, am I right in assuming P means process this as a normal map? Is that how it works? Or do I do preview? Or has preview already happened? I think preview may have already happened. File format, let's use PNG. That is cool, isn't it? Brian, how much time did you spend working that one out? So I could literally open my ambient occlusion map and turn it into something else as well. I didn't even know an edge map existed. That's exciting. Create under normal. Gotcha. Stitches, check. I might just go leave this as it is and just see how it comes out. Set as normal map. Aha. If O was open, maybe S is save. Pure speculation though. I might just go for it, see what happens. Oh yes, there we go. That's neat. And I might just not so much overwrite this, I might just call this normal V2, just so that we're all on the same page here. That's how it works, isn't it? Oh, Rod, I'm trying out something new. That is, if you're into interfaces that freak with your mind, try this. This is called Materialize. This basically blows everything out of the water that we've ever learned about interfaces. Like, you know, the whole file open paradigm, no longer existent. I'm dreaming of a project that doesn't even have these things. Like this goes in the right direction. So that file menu, there's no menu. I like it. There's no menu at all. I like it if there's not even text. I like it that we have to not even use the mouse and keyboard to open and close files and get things done. You have to pull a grimace at the webcam so that the program understands what you want to do. So you have to go, and that would be like file open, and then you do, and that'll be like file close, or, you know, file save as. I'd like an interface like that. I'm working on it. I've got my people working on it now. But hey, free tool. Even better if we can say hide GUI. Oh, wonderful. No more menus whatsoever. This is good. I like it. Hey, so I'm trying this. So this is called Materialize. And you can use it to convert one awkward map and turn it into another awkward map. So like in my case, height map didn't work the way I wanted it in DAZ Studio, but this thing can turn a height map into a normal map. So I think Photoshop, let me just have a quick nosy in Photoshop, because I think that can also do something like that. Or there was at one point at which it could. So if I have, this is my height map here. And if I go and turn that into a group just briefly and go and duplicate that and turn it into a brand new document. Righty, so this is it. And the group, I think it only works on one layer. Let me just go and flatten this out. So merge layers. Then we have this, and just go and I'll take it out of the group. I just want to know if it still works. So if I go and duplicate this, this is a height map now. I think under filter 3D, there's also generate bump map, height map, or generate normal map. And I think Photoshop can also do that. But I was never really entirely sure how it would do that from regular image data. So it could well be that, you know, yeah, this is what Photoshop says these days. 3D features are being discontinued. Many 3D features are not working properly. Click the Learn More link below for details. We're okay with that. So I was always a little bit ambivalent about what it's actually doing here, because it fakes it. It can't really generate a normal map because, I mean, how does it? It doesn't have all the information, I guess. So it just kind of goes and fakes things a little bit. And it also doesn't do that awesome a job, but it does give you a little bit of a 3D preview here. and you can adjust it, and you know, but I never really understood it, to be brutally honest. I'm not actually that dismayed that it goes away. C is copy and P is paste. Why did they not invent something else there? I wonder. So I'm gonna just go and close this down, because, you know, let's try out this brand new materials from boundingboxsoftware.com. By the way, I might just go put that in the chat as well before starting off my, you know, maybe a little bit more music here. Alrighty, so in the DAZ Studio then, let me go load up my project again from earlier. Oh yeah, Rod, did you see this? Were you here when we looked at this? When we looked at a displaced cube and then drew out random letters in Photoshop, and then we made this with a displacement map? Did you see this? Because that's cool. I like that. I like that part. So much fun. But hey, it's okay. We'll go and load my previous project here, sandals.duff. And we're not going to save this. We're good. It's Jay's Christmas show reel. That's the one. And this is the last thing we're going to try out, and then we're going to call it a day, because Julia and I need to eat as well. Totally forgot about this. What's the day today? Anyway, today is the 22nd. My God, where did this year go? Thankfully, she's now wearing clothes. Oh yeah, we still have testing on here, and we still have the bad map on here. Okay, so we're going to go and replace this now. Under bump, so under base bump, we're going to set nothing. The no bump map. And on the normal front, we're just going to use the new map that we've just made, right? And that was kilo. That was this one here, normal V2. So let's go and left click and drag that into here. Let's see what that comes up with. Does it look any better? Looks as bad as the previous one. Also, it's inverted now, so I suppose that was kind of my mistake. So I can see the stitches going down. So I suppose that was my mistake in doing, coming here to my making these guys dark. So I suppose if I make these light and then turn that into a bump map, into a normal map again, that should do the trick, right? Brian, that is so funny. Let's try that. Let's try that. So we go and change the color of these guys to white, pure white, hopefully. Doesn't do anything. Do you think something's blocked? There we go. It's done it now. That took it a little bit of time to think about it. And I might just go and put this on the desktop there. Height, I'll just call it 2, or light maybe. Height and light. Just so that I can go and use materialize again. Was it P for open again? Which made, oh no, it was O for open, isn't it? O for open, I think. Oh yes. Desktop, sandals, select. That's that. And under normal map, can we click preview? Has this done it already, or do I need to say create? Maybe I need to create here. And set as normal map. Maybe that's how it works. Oh, okay. Flip normal. I'll see if I can find it. So I think this is good to know. In my case, I don't think I want to invert everything because most of the normal map was okay. It's just my stitches that were going the wrong way. Where would that be? Post-process. I don't know. Flip Y, there we go. Found it. Thank you, Brian. Alrighty. Let's see if this works now. If I go and say S for save, maybe? And I might just go and put this on my desktop as well. No, I'm not. I'm going to be super brave here. I'm going to be super brave. I'm going to go put the... Mona Lisa said I can also copy and paste the path. Maybe I'll try that next time. I'm not that brave. Wedge Sandals product, runtime, textures, me, Wedge Sandals, and I will call this Sandals Normal 2. Or V2 rather. Ding. Whew. It's getting to the point where my head is starting to smoke as well. Gotta be brutally honest. Sandals Normal V2. Oh, I've got 2. Why is that? Which one have I just saved? Why do I have 2? Okay, I'm going to save another one because I don't know which one that is. Let's go. S for save. Let's call it Sandals Normal V3. Aha. V3, gotcha. And we'll put this one in here. Has that inverted the stitches? I'm not seeing it, you know. I'm not seeing it. I think they're still going down. I don't see them going up. Just as down as they were before. So let me go and load the other one in again, which I would imagine was... Oh, this is our first normal here. I don't think that had any stitches. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we have V2 times 2. I don't really remember... Which one was which? I don't really know. And from there you create the normal and the height. Do you think, Rod? So, interesting. I think really what we need is for Substance Painter to introduce something like paths. I don't know why that isn't there. I mean, it might actually be there, I might just not know about it. So I don't know how else you'd do something like this accurately. There has to be a way. I mean, I don't think ZBrush has it either. Maybe it's just too difficult to implement. But hey, one of those things. Hey, this was an interesting test. It was sadly unsuccessful, so I still don't like the stitches. And the stitches that I've made by like freehand in Substance are actually better than the ones I've tried to make in my Clip Studio Paint thing. I also didn't quite have the right brushes, I must say, but that's something I might tackle tomorrow now that I know which of these brushes I can use as a starting point. So maybe then tomorrow I will try and have take my Procreate brushes out, which you can, if you're interested, you can download those from my website. And I might go and turn them over into a product on Ko-fi. So let's stay stitch brushes here. I think that should be in here. Somewhere 12 Procreate brushes, stitches and sequence. And this is something... My website has a switch between light and dark mode, by the way, in case. So the dark mode is kind of just implied a little bit. The white mode is what I've made for it. Yeah, these are the things that I've made for Procreate. So they're still available, they're still usable. And this is the downloads button here that just goes and gets you a zip file. Actually gives you the brush file directly. So if you do it on your iPad, you can just grab it out there. I'll go and put this link in the description here. Jay's Procreate stitch brushes. Brushes. Enjoy. And I will go and see if I can grab the alphas that I've made for that and just go and turn them into things that we can use in Clip Studio Paint, as well as perhaps Painter, as well as perhaps Photoshop. I don't know about how to do that, but I know the basics of how to make your own brushes in Clip Studio Paint. So maybe I'll start with that tomorrow and have another go at this or something else. My friends, thank you so much for being here with me for over 2 hours, nearly 3 hours. This was really, really cool. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed and supported me. I really appreciate that. If we don't see each other before Christmas, have a wonderful holiday period, of course. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., something like that. Or even throughout the day, who knows. Have a wonderful Christmas time, or I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.